Hello everyone, this is Patrick, Comics and Collectibles, and we have part 5 of the FELICE 3D model customization project. I will be focusing on the spear today. I will talk a little bit about the helmet, but mostly this video will be about the spear. If you have followed this series since the beginning, you know that this was I forget the name of the character, Zeril Lazelle or something like that. It was a character and I made some slight modifications. I wanted to make more, but this is really fragile and I didn't want to destroy it. And if you look really close, folks, there is some beautiful detail on this. Now, I do realize that this may look more like the Lazelle character than it does FELICE, but that is because most of these characters that I am modifying and customizing, they do not have a standard look. They have a description in the books that they appear in. However, none of them have a standardized look or a definitive look. But I'm working on that. I'm trying to come up with a look for each one of them. But in the meantime, I'm finding 3D models that closely resemble the characters from the many Colored Land books and doing the best that I can with them. All right, now that that's out the way, let's talk about the Gladiator helmet first, because I want to focus more on the spear. So let's get this part over with first. All right, this is the helmet that FELICE wears. Trying to get it to focus. And I made this from, what did I use on this? Oh, clay, some air dry clay. And I was going to use some bristles from a toothbrush for the crest. However, they did not turn out right. That's them right there. I just couldn't get it to look right, so I opted to use this epoxy sculpt, and that's what the crest is made of. And I tried to put some lines in it to indicate that it was like feathers or whatever they made those crests from. And I put some hot glue on the inside so that this thing does not break, because I have to do some more carving and grinding on it. I didn't want it to break into parts, so I put the hot glue inside. Hopefully that will prevent it from breaking. And after I do some more carving and grinding on it, I'll paint it and that will be done. Let's see. All right, let's talk about this spear, folks. Okay. The spear that you see right there on FELICE on her back came from another customization model that I worked on, the Aiken Drum model. I've decided to use that spear instead of this one right here. This is the one that was intended for this project, but it's too long. And let me show you what I mean. And I'm not going to touch the model because you may not notice, but the spear is not attached. It's just sitting up on top of her hand right here. And I'm still trying to work that part out. I want to get it to come down a little more so that it is in front of her hand and so that this doesn't look so weird or odd. And it came out okay right here. Let me see if I can. Ooh, I almost knocked it over. Now, her hands were holding a sword, and the sword, part of it is still in her hand. I could not carve it or scrape it or grind it out without destroying the fingers. So part of it is there, and I'm just trying to get the spear to sit where the sword used to be. And so, where's my pointer? There it is. So I have to try to figure this out, how to get it in front of the hand to cover that up so it doesn't look so weird. Let's see. So I really wanted to use, oh, it's in my hand. I really wanted to use this spear because FELICE is 5 feet tall. The aliens who created this spear, they are around 7 to 8 feet tall, and this is at least as tall or taller than they are. So this would have been more, I guess, proportional to her height, but I'll have to live with it. Now, the reason I could not use this one, let me see if I can put it up here again. Now, you may not notice a difference in size, but this one is a little thicker than the one that she's holding. And it was really hard trying to get this behind her head. Well, I should say it was hard trying to get it between her head, the back of her head, and her hands. It was a tight fit, and it just wouldn't get off in there properly, or would not fit in there properly. That's why I decided to use this one right here instead. Another thing, okay, I'll point it out on this one, it'll be easier. If you look right here, that is some type of hand guard. And it was really hard trying to, let me swing back around. It was damn near impossible to get this handguard to fit on the spear and then fit behind her head or fit on her properly. So those are the reasons I'm not going to use this one. But once I finish with it, I will show you what it looks like. I still have to paint it, and I will be using these colors right here. That 2 blue, this white, and some metallic gold. I have applied maybe 5 to 6 coats of gloss on here. And the spear in the book, the spears are made of some type of glass. I forget what kind of glass it is, but they are made from glass. And I was trying to simulate that by putting a lot of coats of gloss on it and give it that shiny glass look. Don't know if I achieved it or not, but I hope I did. And also, I was trying to make the edges, I was trying to get rid of the edges where there should be edges right here. Where is the point? Okay, right there. Here, 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 and anywhere there was an edge, I rounded it off. So I figured if I rounded it off, it would make it look more like glass instead of having it squared. All right, folks, the music has ended. That's telling me it's time to wrap this video up. So I want to thank you for watching this video, and thank you for supporting the channel. One more video at the most, and this series will be done. And I will be getting into the next character from the Many Colored Land books, and that will be Stein. Stein considers himself a modern day Viking. I'm sure you will like that one. That's coming up next. So, thanks again, folks. Bye. You know what? I don't think I talked about her braid. Hold on, let's swing it around real quick. I don't think the braid was on last time. Let's see. So let's take a quick look at that braid. I know it's a little bit long, but I put so much work, time, and effort into making it. I couldn't bear the thought of cutting it or chopping it to make it shorter. So it's going to stay the way it is right now. All right, folks. Thank you. Bye.